What is up, my friends? You are welcome along to Thursday night's Anfield Agenda late night news roundup. Over the course of this video, we're going to discuss the futures of KONATE and Diaz a little bit more. Looking ahead to Harvey Elliott and his potential departure. We're going to be talking about David Ornstein saying that Liverpool have slim to none chance of getting Alexander Isak from Newcastle. We'll read you through some of his comments about it. And of course, we want to know your thoughts. So let us know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it. And of course, we'd love you to hit that subscribe button. Right, let's start off with one forward that Liverpool won't be signing, and that is Nick Woltemade, who has pretty much agreed a deal to go and join Bayern Munich. Florian Plettenberg said exclusive FC Bayern and Nick Woltemade have reached a full verbal agreement over a summer transfer. The 23-year-old versatile striker wants to join Bayern with immediate effect. Long-term contract until 2030 with salary and terms already agreed. Now we're going to move on to speak a little bit about Harvey Elliott, because we know Brighton are interested, we know Villa are interested, we know West Ham are interested, and now there's another club interested. And that new club interested is Fulham, like we mentioned last night. But on West Ham, they are looking at him at the under-21s. And Ben Jacobs said on TalkSport that West Ham and Fulham could make a play to sign Harvey Elliott. We know that Liverpool value Harvey in and around £40 million. He's obviously been lighting up the Euro under-21s, scoring regularly, helping England make their way to the final where they'll take on Germany. So keep your eye on this one, because it looks like Elliott may well be staying in the Premier League. Let's talk Owen Beck for a second. The plan is to send Owen Beck out on loan again next season, but this piece here in the Echo suggested that he's going to sign a new contract before going out on loan for another season. Football Insider claimed that Derby County, Rangers and Wrexham are all interested in bringing him in on loan for next season. A little bit on Fabio Carvalho, but you weren't expecting that in this video, because Liverpool could be about to make a few quid on him. He's closing in on a move to Benfica by the looks of things from Brentford. About €10 million is apparently the price, and Liverpool have a 17.5% sell-on clause there, so maybe we're going to see a few quid come in for Carvalho. Now, before we move on to speak about the ISAK situation, let's talk for a few minutes about Diaz and about KONATE, because for me these two are very different situations, albeit potentially with the same ending. So KONATE, let's start there. The news came out today from France and a couple of other reports that suggested that KONATE wants to leave when his Liverpool contract is up at the end of the upcoming season. Now, of course, they went on to speak about Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona and Real Madrid all being interested in him on a free. But Liverpool surely won't want to let KONATE go on a free. It looks as if Liverpool don't want to pay KONATE the money he's asking for. That's based off what we're seeing out there in the media. Now, for me, let's look at the wages he's on. If Liverpool are to make a stance and say to Real Madrid and the rest of Europe that we're not having our players being poached for nothing, we're going to make a stance, and if KONATE doesn't want to be sold this summer, well then he's going to have to sit in the 21s and on the bench for the season. And I think we can do that, because the value of his contract left is about £3.5 million. And that is a number I think Liverpool could live with, making a statement. I also think that Liverpool will go out and bring in another defender anyway, even if KONATE stays, knowing that he wants to run down his deal. So for me, Mark Gay will come in. I think you'll see Liverpool move for a young defender then on top of that, whether that is the likes of Jarell Haddo or somebody else, that remains to be seen. But I think we need to make a stance here. I get it if you're going to say to me, Craig, play KONATE for the season. That's your opinion and I respect it. But for me, if KONATE doesn't want to be here, I'm done with us wasting time. If Madrid can come to an agreement with Liverpool for this summer, brilliant. They rumoured to be willing to pay about £25 million for KONATE. Liverpool would want about £40 to £45 million. So maybe you can come to a compromise there in the middle. But either way, I don't want another toxic situation that is going to have headline after headline all season talking about KONATE to Madrid, KONATE to PSG, KONATE to Barcelona. We don't need that distraction. So sort out his future quickly and decisively is what I would say. But of course, would love to know your thoughts on it. Secondly, let's talk about Luis Diaz. I'm a little bit different with this one because, well, there is no real offer forthcoming for Luis Diaz. We know that KONATE has, at least according to reports, turned down Liverpool's contract offer, wanting a higher base salary and less add-ons, wanted more guaranteed money. But Diaz it doesn't look like there is a contract offer forthcoming anytime soon. Yes, there has been some flirtations in the media as well with Barcelona. There's been links to Saudi and there's been links to a few other places. But I just get the feeling, and again, this is just a gut feeling, not based off any inside information, that Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards and Arne Slot look at this situation and think that both of these guys are eminently replaceable and that it wouldn't be catastrophic if they departed the club. And with Diaz, I think Liverpool are probably quite relaxed about it, knowing that he's on a low wage, he's still got 2 years to run on his deal, and even if he ended up leaving at the end of those 2 years, Liverpool will probably think they've gotten value out of the deal. If Diaz is unhappy, and it looks like he is according to Pipe Sierra and a few other reports saying he wants a pay rise or he wants to leave, well, if it's one or the other and Liverpool don't want to give him the pay rise, then you got to try and find a way to move him on this summer. And I think Liverpool are open to that possibility. That's just my reading of this situation. But I have a lot more sympathy with Luis Diaz because, he hasn't turned down contract offers that we're aware of. But it still goes back to the reports from around October, November, where it looked like himself, KONATE and Kwanzaa were all close to getting new deals. Or at least KONATE and Kwanzaa were close to getting new deals. And something there has changed. I don't know if it's Real Madrid perhaps getting in his agent's ear, but Ibu, I have a bit less sympathy for. In fact, a lot less sympathy for. If he can't agree a deal to move away this summer, I'm all for putting him on the bench for the rest of the season to make a stand. But, that's just my view on it. Let's move on now to Alexander Isak, because this is one that's dragging on. And even the Echo are saying, keep an eye on this situation or whatever. But David Ornstein, speaking on the Athletic podcast, has said about Newcastle and Isak, their plan is to keep him. They would like to renew his contract. There's no sign of a renewal coming at this point, but Newcastle are in a strong position. They've got 3 years left on Isak's contract. He's already been paid extremely well, and I'm sure would be prepared to take that higher, as in Newcastle, the wage higher. He's at the centre of this project, and that's Saudi-led and very ambitious. He went on to say that if they were enticed into trading, the money would be huge. We've always heard around £150 million as the price tag, but we don't know for certain. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less, but it would be an eye-watering amount of money, no doubt. We don't know what his representatives are doing. Maybe they're entertaining possibilities. Maybe they're hearing from interested parties. We know about the admiration that has been long-standing for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal, and we know that Liverpool have an admiration for him. So that's kind of where we're at. And again, a lot of people are saying, why does it seem to be July before there's any answers to this? Well, he'll be on holidays, won't he? So he won't come back to start talking to Newcastle until pre-season starts. But I still don't think it's really feasible. I just don't. Who the number 9 may be, I don't know. It does look like Darwin is closer to joining Napoli. That one really does look like it has legs. So other than that, folks, that is where we're at right now. The good news, at least I hope it is, I'll be here tomorrow, same time, same place. Hope to see you then. If you haven't already, again, don't forget to join our WhatsApp channel. The link is in the description. Thank you for your support, and we'll talk tomorrow. Much love. Bye-bye.